Hi everyone, I'm Erin Maxey, Homeowner Services Manager at Willamette West Habitat for Humanity. Thanks for watching this video today. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Habitat for Humanity program, as well as the application process for 2020. This presentation is in place of our typical in-person pre-application meetings that happen at the libraries in town. Due to the current situation, those have of course been canceled. So please feel free to watch this video, share it with others who are interested in applying, and reach out to me with questions at the end of the presentation if you have any. My contact information is on the website. It is also going to be given to you at the end of the presentation. Okay. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the changes that have happened this year due to the current coronavirus and the social distancing requirements. Then I'm going to jump right into the types and locations of homes we have available, some of the basics of Habitat and our program, how the process works, monthly payment requirements, as well as the total cost associated with buying a home, and give you a couple tips for completing the application. To start with, a couple of the changes we've made this year, we have extended the deadline for returning your application. You can start returning that application as early as March 26th, and we will accept them all the way up until Friday, May 29th. Okay, we've also expanded the ways in which you can return your application. Those who have applied before will remember that usually we only accept them in person at our office. This year we will accept them through email, mail, fax, or there will be a Dropbox, a locked Dropbox attached to the back door of our Habitat office in Hillsborough, where you can submit your application as well. That Dropbox will be monitored regularly, checked daily, so please do feel comfortable leaving your information in that box. Once we get the application, we will start reviewing it, and if you are missing something, we will contact you. So we will let you know what you're missing, and we'll give you a new deadline to get that to us. Okay, we are not changing the documents for which you have to submit along with your application. You still have to give us the pay stubs and the bank statements and the tax return. All of those documents which are listed on page 3 of your application are still required. A lot of places these days have online banking, online accounts where you can sign in and access those utility bills or those bank statements. So please try and think creatively when you're trying to gather these documents. I do understand that places are closed, that it's hard, might be hard for you to access a printer. That's why we're allowing you to email these in as well. So you can save some of those statements from online, attach them to an email, and get them to me that way. Okay. A little bit about Habitat in general. Willamette West Habitat is part of a global community under the name Habitat for Humanity International. We work in all 50 states and in 70 different countries around the world. We have a single vision, and that is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And we accomplish that through building new homes, through repairing older homes here in our local community. Willamette West has been around for about 30 years, for over 30 years. We've built over 100 homes, and our territory is primarily Washington County. So we focus a lot on Beaverton, Wallowa, Hillsborough. In the future, we will jump into King City a little bit, but primarily those cities is where we've built and will build in the future. So if you are interested in living somewhere other than those places I've just discussed, there are other Habitat offices, we call them affiliates, that are located in different cities, but not far away. So West Quality Habitat is located in Forest Grove. Um, Evergreen Habitat is up in Clark County, Vancouver, Washington. And then there's Habitat for Humanity Portland Metro East. They build on the east side of Portland, all the way out to Gresham. They build in some North Portland. So we are all independent offices. And while we do the same thing, we all have our own application process and our own qualifications. So if you are interested in living somewhere other than where my office builds in Washington County, please take some time and call these other offices to find out more about their program. There's also habitats in McMinnville and Salem and Newburgh. So there are about 30 here in Washington, or in Oregon, excuse me. So please feel free to look that up and reach out to any of them. So for my office, the houses we will be offering this year are located in two different neighborhoods. Jenny Gardens is our current neighborhood. We're already under construction there in Beaverton. We'll have 6 houses available this year. In our Alder Commons neighborhood, which is in Hillsborough, we'll also have 6 houses available there. And we have asked for you to indicate your preference on your application. So if you do have a preference that you live in Beaverton or that you live in Hillsborough, we want to know. And so please take some time to fill out that part of the application. We also included information on these neighborhoods with the application. So we have drawings and floor plans, as well as information on the schools that are located near these neighborhoods. So there's about 4 pages in there that I really encourage you to take some time looking over, so you can understand a little bit more about the neighborhoods. I also included the cross streets so that you could drive by the site if you wanted. As I mentioned, Denny Gardens is already under construction, so you can kind of get a feel for what those homes will look like and what that neighborhood will feel like. The Alder Commons neighborhood is not under construction yet, so it's just a vacant piece of property. But you're welcome to drive by and get an idea of the location. Here's a picture of Denny Gardens. It will be 16 homes when we're finished. They are 3-story townhomes. So this is the floor plan of our 4-bedroom up on top and the 3-bedroom on the bottom. Each one of these is a floor in order: first floor, second floor, third floor. So you'll notice in both the 4-bedroom and the 3-bedroom homes, the first floor is primarily the garage. So that means the living space, the kitchen, the living room is all on the second floor. All right. All on the second floor. That's true down here in the 3-bedroom as well. In the 4-bedroom, we do have a bedroom on the first floor, but not in the 3-bedroom. There's just not space. So I want to make sure you understand that there's quite a few stairs in all of these homes, and you have to go up at least 1 flight of stairs in order to access the main living space. At Alder Commons, we also have townhome style houses, but they are only 2-story. But the setup is very much similar to Denny Gardens. You have a garage that takes up a lot of space on that first floor, and your main living space here on the second floor. And the 4 bedrooms, you get 2 bedrooms on the first floor that share a bathroom. And the 3-bedroom, you only have one that has a bathroom on the first floor. All right. So how does this whole thing work? Habitat will be looking for basically qualified families, and I'm going to spend a bit of time next talking about what it means to be a qualified family, right? In short, it means that you meet our financial guidelines and you're willing to partner with us, okay? Upon completion of the program, Individuals and families will purchase a home from Habitat, and Habitat will make sure that that price for the home is affordable to you based on your income. And I'll go into that a little bit too, right? The application process, here's a visual of what it looks like. We are right here, public information meetings. That is what this presentation is for. May 29th is the deadline, so applications will start coming in. The deadline will happen on May 29th. And once that happens, we will start reviewing all the applications to see if they meet our financial guidelines. This includes pulling credit, and I'll talk about what those guidelines are in a minute. Anyone who doesn't meet those financial guidelines will be sent a letter. It's a denial letter, but it will explain why you don't meet our qualifications at this time. And the purpose is for you to be able to fix or work on any of the issues that came up. So I'm always happy to explain to you if you don't understand why you didn't meet our qualifications, what led us to that decision. Those who do meet our qualifications financially will be asked to sign up for a applicant meeting. This is new this year. And these meetings will be based on what neighborhood that you want to live in. The purpose is to explain a little bit more about how homeownership will work in both of those neighborhoods. It will be different. So if you're interested in Beaverton, all the Beaverton people will be in a meeting, and all the Hillsborough people will be in a meeting. If you don't have a preference, we're going to ask that you come to both meetings, because it's important that you understand how you will buy a house in these neighborhoods before you join the program. They are required, and if you don't show up, you don't attend, we can deny you for that reason, okay? So it'll be important. What those meetings will look like will just depend on when they end up happening and what the situation is at that time, okay? We may be able to have small group meetings, and if not, then we can arrange for those meetings to happen over the phone. The same thing with our home visits. Again, if the situation is still like it is right now, where we are asked to social distance and not gather in groups, then those home visits will happen over the phone. All right. After the home visits, we do a verification of your employment, of your rental history, and we do background checks on the applicant and the co-applicant. After that, we go to our board of directors, who makes the final decision, and those who aren't accepted will be sent denial letters, and those who are accepted will get a much happier acceptance letter. Most of the time, we have more people apply for our program than we are able to accept. So we'll be looking for 12 households this year, but there's a good chance we will have more than 12 households qualify for the program. Sometimes people will get a denial letter that simply says a family of greater need was chosen, or we didn't have enough space in the program. And basically, both of those things mean the same thing. We just couldn't serve everyone that qualified for our program. And we definitely encourage you to apply again. And we will also share with you some resources for other homeownership programs that are active in our community. Okay. Typically, that whole process takes about 4 months. This year, I'm not putting a timeline on it because I'm not sure how long it will take. The application return process has been extended by almost a month. And if I have to do home visits over the phone or individual meetings with each person who qualifies, it could take longer. So just be prepared. I will guarantee that I will keep you up to date through the process. Every month, I will send you a notice that tells you where your application is in the process and what you have left. A lot of that will be simply you've turned in everything you need to turn in, we are currently in the financial review process. We'll let you know when you move on to the next step. Um, but you're also welcome to call and check in at any point in time. That's why I'm here, so feel free to reach out if you are concerned or don't know where things stand. One of the things I like to make sure everyone knows up front is that our program does require that all applicants be legal permanent residents or U.S. citizens in order to um, qualify for our program. We will require proof that you meet this requirement. It may be later on in the process this year, but at some point when we're able to meet, I will need to see your actual documents that prove your citizenship or prove your legal permanent residency status. You also have to turn in the application on time. If you don't, we don't accept any late applications. Once we get the application, we will review them for three things: ability to pay, need, and willingness to partner. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about each of those. Ability to pay is basically your financial situation, right? So the first thing we're going to look at is your income. For Habitat, income is gross income, which is income before taxes or deductions are taken out. It's not what you get in your bank account each month. It's before taxes. Okay. We also count income that is from other sources than just employment. So maybe you get SSI or SSDI, retirement income, Social Security. All those things are considered income, and we will count them if you want them to be counted. We also look at income two different ways. We first start by looking at the applicant, co-applicant's income. We will add that income together, and their income must meet the minimum income. So if you have 4 people in your household, an applicant, a co-applicant, and two people in the household, the applicant and co-applicant have to meet this minimum income by themselves. After you meet that minimum income, we'll see if anyone else in the household is working. If there are other people who get income in the household, we'll add all of the household's income together, and that has to be $4,000 or less, or this maximum income or less, okay? So there's 2 different ways we look at it, and each is a different qualifier, so you have to meet both of them. We're pretty strict on income. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room for being lenient, but if you want to explain a certain special circumstance to us, please feel free to do so. Other things that we look at in ability to pay primarily come from your credit report. So we do pull up a credit report. We do not have a minimum credit score requirement, but we do look at specific things. The first is your debt to income. So we will look at all of your credit cards, all of your loans, maybe a car loan, your student loan, and each of those things has a minimum payment requirement, minimum monthly payment. So maybe you have a car loan that requires $250 a month payment, and you have a credit card that you pay $25 a month on. We add those things up and we divide it by your monthly income. And that gives us a debt to income ratio. So we have a threshold. Your debt to income ratio needs to be 13% or less to qualify, okay? We'll look at your payment history for the last 2 months or 2 years and see how many late payments you have. We don't allow any liens or government judgments on credit reports. We say you have to have less than $1,500 in collections to qualify. If you filed a bankruptcy in the past, you need to be 3 years cleared. So 3 years since it was discharged, not when you filed, but when it was discharged. And we need to see that you've established good credit since that bankruptcy. Okay. And finally, we have to be able to believe that you can save between $4,000 and $5,000. We ask that you save $4,000 to $5,000 to help cover closing costs and buying things for the home, such as appliances, because the house will not come with appliances. You will have up to 18 months to save this, maybe even a little bit longer. And we will connect you with programs and other resources to help you save that money. But basically, we're going to come up with a budget for you based on what you pay to creditors and what you pay for food and all of that good stuff, to see if we think you have some money left over at the end of the month to save. Okay. If you meet our financial requirements, we move on to need. Need is a lot of things, and it's different for everybody. One of the easier ones is that you currently do not own a home, or you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. Okay. This includes being a co-signer on a loan for someone else's house. Maybe your friend or your brother came and asked you to help him buy a house, and you are a co-signer for his loan. That technically means you own a house. If your brother stops paying for that loan, you're responsible. That means you wouldn't qualify for a program unless you can get off that loan. All right. Need is also substandard living conditions. That's very broad. And some examples might be unhealthy living conditions, unsafe houses or apartments that aren't maintained by the landlord like they should be. There's a lot of things there. And we'll ask and talk and get a good understanding of what you consider are substandard living conditions for your family. Overcrowdedness is also a need, right? If you have more than 2 people per bedroom, then that means there's too many people in the house that you have. And another need might be paying a large part of your monthly income for rent. Federal government says if you pay more than 30% of your income for rent, then that's unaffordable to you. So that is kind of our threshold for paying too much. Okay. So need can be a lot of things, and we'll ask you to tell us why you're applying for the program, and that's where you can kind of tell us why, what your need is for the Habitat program. The final thing we'll look at is your willingness to partner. This is a little bit more difficult to assess at the very beginning. But returning your application on time, returning a completed application. On the application, we ask that you agree to complete sweat equity hours, which I'll talk about in a moment. So that is part of willingness to partner. You have to attend classes and workshops that we put on. And we want you to work cooperatively with Habitat staff and volunteers. So there's this whole partnership aspect that you have to be willing to agree to. So that is part of the application. And so don't miss those. They're just little check boxes. Okay. Sweat equity in a little more detail. We ask that you do 500 hours of sweat equity. And sweat equity is basically volunteer time. It's hours you put in on the construction site or at the restore or through classes. And then we have a lot of different ways you can put in hours. You can also have friends and family help you complete those hours, coworkers. They don't all have to be done by you. So on the screen, you'll see some of the benchmarks we have. You have to do 100 hours in the first 6 months. 250 hours, we will assign the actual house. We'll put you in line for the next house to be completed. You have to complete the 500 hours, though, before we will sell you a house. All right? So that's sweat equity. This slide is a little bit old, but Habitat has built all types of homes, condos, townhomes, duplexes, single family. Um, right now, our homes are townhomes. Okay, they are modest homes. They have standard footage, and I've included some of the basic square footage on those house designs that we provided to you. There's clearly all of them have garages, so this is old. But the purpose of this is so that you understand that Habitat is not a custom builder. All of our home designs are already done. We do not make many modifications just because you want them. Some people may like open living space. But we are not going to add or remove walls, remove bathrooms, things like that for you. That is not what we do. It slows down construction. It adds costs so that we're not serving as many as fast as we could. So that's why I'm providing you the floor plans now. That's why I'm providing you pictures and allowing you to drive by the site, because that's what you're going to get. And there's not a whole lot that can be done to change things. Okay. House size is also something you don't have a whole lot of say over. We determine house size at the time you are asked to join the program. And it's based on who you've included in your household on the application. Okay. Adult couples will be expected to share a room, and children who are 18 years or younger of the same gender and 3 years or less apart in age will also be expected to share a room. Example. In this example, we have Mary and John, who are a couple. They have 3 kids, and they have a grandparent that lives with them. So they have a daughter who's 6, a daughter who's 3, a son who's 11, and grandmother who's 70. So Mary and John would share a room. They are an adult couple, all right? The 2 daughters, who are 3 years apart in age, would share a room. The son would get his own room, and the grandmother would get a room. So this is a 4-bedroom household. 2 things I want to point out here. We do not build anything bigger than a 4-bedroom house. On all of the slides about our neighborhoods, you'll see how many houses we have available and what sizes they are. 4-bedroom is the biggest. We also don't care who ends up in what room. This is just a way for us to figure out how many rooms your family needs. Once you move in, anyone can live in any room. We're not going to come and make sure that Frank is in his own room. But this is just an example of how the formula works. A little bit about our mortgages. Okay, so the price of the house cannot be determined until it is complete. So that is one of the biggest questions I get is, how much is this going to cost? I don't know. The house isn't built yet. But once it is, we will get an appraisal for the house, and we will use that appraisal to set the sales price. And no matter what that sales price is, Habitat will make sure you pay an affordable monthly mortgage payment. All right? So that's the important part. The way in which Habitat will sell the homes this year in each neighborhood will be different. Okay, so that is why we are having those neighborhood meetings that I mentioned, so that you can learn and understand how you will purchase the house, because we want to make sure you know what you're getting into and that you're comfortable with it. All right, this is wrong. This should be 30. All right, Habitat will guarantee that no more than 30% of your income will be used for your monthly mortgage payment. Remember, I mentioned the government said 30% or less is affordable. So that's where that number comes from. So another question I get a lot is, how much is this going to cost me? So let's go back to the 30%. number. We say no more than 30% of your monthly income will be used for your mortgage payment. In this example, we have a 5-person household, and they make about $3,125 a month. You simply take your monthly income, multiply it by 30%, and that will be your mortgage payment. So she will pay $937.50 a month for her house. Okay. What's included in that monthly mortgage payment? It includes the principal. Principal is what you pay back to Habitat for the house. Okay. It will include interest. And yes, Habitat may charge interest. We do not guarantee a zero interest loan. So that's important to know. Also included in the monthly payment is your property taxes, your insurance, and your homeowners association dues. So no matter how much any of those things cost above, your payment will still not be more than 30% of your income. All right. A couple tips for your application. You have time still. Well, I'm recording this in March, so you have until May 29th to get this done. So go and check out your credit. You can get a free credit report every year from the government at this top website, annualcreditreport.com. I also use a site called Credit Karma personally to keep a tab on my credit. But both of these will tell you if you have anything negative on your credit report that you should take care of before you apply. If you do, take some time to clean it up. Maybe you just need to pay one collection item, and when you pay that, keep proof of it and turn that in along with your application. Okay. I think one of the biggest things people trip up on is not knowing what's on their credit report. It's important. Start collecting important documents now. Yes, the application isn't due until May, but it may take you a little bit longer this year to get those applications. As I may have mentioned earlier, a lot of sites allow online banking and online bill pay. And if they allow that, they usually have the statements available online too. So I'm hoping that most of the things that you need to turn into me can be found online. And then you can just send them to me in an email. All right. This last one, you can ignore. You have the new ways in which you can turn it in by mail, by fax, by email, or through our Dropbox at our office. A few other clarifications, because I always get questions on these. The applicant and the co-applicant are considered the same thing. One's not more important than the other, so it doesn't matter who is listed there. They should just be the main income earners. Could be applicant 1 and applicant 2. We just call it applicant and co-applicant. Where I ask for property manager information, this is where you need to put who you pay your rent to. Okay, it's who I can contact to verify that you are paying your rent. All right, so maybe this is just a mom and pop who own the house and you're paying them every month, or it could be a big property management company. Either is fine, just I need a way to contact them. And my biggest suggestion is to add more paper, add more space if you need it. You have to remember that I'm looking at a lot of applications and all I have is what you provide me. So if you need to explain something because you think it's unique, or if you need more space to be complete with something, please use it, add more papers. The more information, the better, okay? As I mentioned earlier, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. You are not bothering me. I don't mind helping you answer those questions. My email is on here. You can also call the office. I will get the phone call on my cell phone as I work from home. So I will still get your phone call. And then, of course, if you want to fax your application in, I wanted to go ahead and include that fax number on here as well. So thanks for listening. And again, if you have questions, please reach out. Um, the application itself is available on our website for you to print out or fill out um, that way. Okay. Thanks again, and I look forward to one day getting a chance to meet you face to face. In the meantime, good luck, and let us know how we can help. Thanks.